Alright, so now the sidewalk's finished. It's time to create a curb. So what you're going to do in order to create the curb is very similar to how you created the sidewalk and the road. So I'm just going to go from that edge just down a little bit. A curb is usually pretty thin. Okay, and then I'm going to go from the bottom of that edge to my left vanishing point, and the same thing to my right vanishing point. You could already see it kind of gives it that 3D effect, so it looks like the sidewalk is above the road, as it usually is. Then what you want to do is you want to continue your sidewalk slab lines. So to do that, you line up your ruler so that it's vertical. And every time you hit one of those slab lines, you just make sure your ruler is parallel to the edge of your page and draw a vertical line in between the sidewalk edge and the curb edge, like so. And as you get further along, you may not even really be able to create those lines. Okay, same thing on the other side. Vertical, completely vertical. This is where our mind tends to play tricks with us, so make sure you're looking towards the edge of your page to make sure your ruler is still vertical. And so on. We can create now the lines in our road. So I've actually sort of changed my mind here. I'm going to get rid of this second sidewalk. I think it's makes the street look a little bit too narrow. So we're just not going to have that second sidewalk here. I'm just going to erase that line. So now the edge of our second sidewalk is now the edge of our road. Sorry about that confusion there. Alright, so this is now our road. I think it looks a little better because it probably should be even wider than the sidewalk, so I'll go ahead and do that. Just doesn't quite look wide enough to me to be a real road. So again, I'm sort of imagining where the road might end off of the edge of my page and drawing those lines. Alright, now we can do the lines in the road that go towards the vanishing point and look like they disappear. So for this, you kind of have to just imagine where the middle of the road would be. So approximately here. And you can do this in two different ways. So the first thing I like to do is draw a line leading towards the vanishing point. And I slightly tilt my ruler over. I'm going to draw another line. And what that's given me now is basically a laneway, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this laneway so it looks kind of like those yellow lines that are in the middle of the road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler towards the opposite end of the page, and I'm just going to draw a line there, and that's how I know that road line ends. Okay, I'm going to move up. So I've kind of erased a little in between, because usually there's spaces in between each of these little line segments. Okay, so I've created another line segment there, and I'll need to erase a little bit. So you can do these however you'd like. They don't have to be exactly the way that I'm doing them. Maybe there's 2 lanes that you would like to do. That's fine. Okay, and of course, as they get closer to the vanishing point, they get thinner and thinner. So here I've sort of reached my point where I can't quite reach my vanishing point anymore. This is at least the last time I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm just going to have to use my imagination. Okay, and so on and so forth. You do want to make sure you're still using your ruler at this point, even though it seems a little bit silly, because these lines are just so small, but you really do want to be using your ruler. Okay, so there we have our road lines going off towards our vanishing point. I'll just make it a little bolder, and eventually, of course, these would probably become yellow. Okay, I'm going to fast forward the video while I do the same thing on the other side.